Here it is. This is one of the most important and common manipulation tactics, or mind games, if you will, used by women, which spawned so many sick, pathetic love songs and has pushed so many men into depression and some suicide. I call this the Catch-23 manipulation tactic. And in this video, I'll give you a thorough analysis so that you can recognize it when it's done to you or to others. And I'll also explain how to get out of it. Please note that women are naturally gifted with the ability to tap into an array of manipulation tactics and skills without any conscious choice. I refer you to the song Everybody's Wrong by Hinder to get the context. So let's get back to the manipulation tactic. The background for this manipulation tactic goes like this. You're a guy in a relationship with a woman for 1 or 2 years. One day, she angrily declares that she can't keep being ignored and not receiving enough time from you, and therefore, she'll leave. She complains that you gave her false hopes of a committed relationship and you didn't follow through with what was rightfully expected of you. You try to reason with her, as men usually foolishly do, by explaining to her about how your schedule is, how busy you are, and so on. But reason has no effect when emotions are at work. You can't get through, and it frustrates you how your rational arguments are not accepted by her. It doesn't make sense to you because you see the paradox of her wanting to see you more, and her solution being not to see you at all and be alone. She insists. She is pig-headedly decisive, and so she leaves. You're too proud to chase her, and then you take the hurt and behave like a man, as is expected of you. Time passes. You feel lonely. You don't just go out with any woman. Sometime in the future, you see a picture of her online having fun and looking happy. You make contact. She is suspiciously too kind to you. Much kinder than when she left, and maybe much kinder than she ever was with you, and it doesn't make sense. Does she want you back? Maybe, but she doesn't sound needy. She sounds kind, as if she's in a better place, and you mean nothing to her. Like a cute little insignificant child, she feels the need to pet and pity. She gladly accepts to meet you, to grasp the opportunity to hurt you, and boost her fragile arrogance, but you don't know that yet. So you meet. She's all dressed up fancy, wearing makeup and clothes and accessories you never saw her wear. She put an effort. Does she want you back after all? Something is wrong though. During the meeting, she boasts about the accomplishments of her life in the time after she left. She loses no opportunity to casually mention that she has lost weight. She is dressed extra nice and seductively to show you in your face what you lost. She feels the desperate, pathetic need to do all that. Still, you're more pathetic as you fall right into the frame of her moving on and you reaching backwards. She then proceeds to subtly guilt you about how you hurt her and what you did to her, how you used her and got her hopes too high, even though she might have never wanted anything serious from you. But it's fine now, because she learned and she's stronger now. She claims that when you were together, your playful banter and affectionate teasing were in reality hurtful to her, even though she never told you that when you were together, and even though she seemed to enjoy it at the time, when she wasn't complaining. She accuses you of everything she was guilty of doing, projecting her flaws onto you. That you put her down, that she was depressed because of you, that she lost so much, and so on. She takes the high ground, repeating how she gave her all for you, delivering her whining with a self-righteous, smug, sanctimonious demeanor. She blames you while accusing you of blaming her. In order for you not to get defensive and reject her accusations, she gives you small strategic compliments and seductive looks before she starts complaining and guilting you again. She controls the narrative, and you accept everything she says at face value. This is what logical male brains do after all. So, after your meeting is up, she makes a vague excuse to leave, without being clear where she's going and who she's meeting. It makes it seem like she has more important things to do. And the trap is set. You're left even more alone than before. feeling bad about how little you provided as a man, that you're not a man, basically, and how easy it will be for another man to fill in, if that hasn't happened already. And your paranoia begins. Guilt is the most powerful tool for controlling the narrative and the frame of the interaction. Following that initial interaction after the breakup, she recruits common friends and convinces them that you were the bad guy. So the social isolation magnifies your guilt. After she baits you and sees that you start chasing her to make things right, your mind plays tricks on you, making you think that suddenly you remember that all this time you were madly in love with her and you didn't even realize it. You promise to rectify everything and give more, and she knows you're truthful, but she doesn't accept to give you a second chance because she doesn't trust you that you'll change, and that doesn't make sense to your logical brain, almost as if something is fishy. I mean, it's obvious that you've changed and you'll do anything for her, right? You feel sorry for her and the pain you've caused her, and to satisfy your guilt, your subconscious will pull you to her and create the illusion that you loved her. She'll pick up on that and bait you even more and give you less. The more you give, the more she takes, and the more empowered she feels, like a spoiled brat whose weak, needy parents do everything to make it stop whining and love them, only resulting in making it worse and worse. She usually replies to your messages, but she replies late and with little value given to you. She doesn't ignore you completely because she wants to keep you hanging on and suffer. As she baits you to chase her and she makes herself scarce, that's the law of scarcity here, you begin to put her higher and higher on the pedestal, as your brain gives you feedback that she must be superior to you if you're chasing and she's running. As you become desperate in your attempts to reach out to her, you find out from others that she's been accusing you behind your back, twisting the truth and making you seem like a monster. You feel like it doesn't make any sense at all. This is a sick attachment for you as a man, and it destroys you as you completely lose your self-worth. By maintaining this sick dynamic, she simply keeps torturing you so that she bloats her ego and reinforces the narrative that she was innocent and you actually hurt her, rather than her being the true selfish, manipulative villain. In your despair, you can't believe how you could let her go, how you did not see before how much you loved her, and now you see it. It's suspicious though. Something doesn't add up. And then the unthinkable happens. You find out that she's been sleeping around with other guys, bad dudes, who are not at all committed to her, and who treat her like a piece of meat. And she's fine with that. She's fine with them doing that to her. But she wasn't fine with you committing, but not enough. You might even find out that she was cheating on you before she left. What the heck is going on? Were you so bad? If commitment is what she wanted, how can she reject you now to live a life of promiscuity? It doesn't make sense. You confront her about it, and all she says is that these men give her everything you didn't. And this completely destroys your self-esteem because you've already invested in her emotionally, and your self-worth is already dependent on her opinion. Checkmate. Why is this happening to you? It doesn't make sense. She said she wanted commitment, and when you offer it, she doesn't want it. What are you missing? How can you offer everything she asked for, but she doesn't want it anymore? Could she be over you so quickly? Are you so disgusting to her? Or is there something else going on? Let's summarize. She left you because you weren't committing. Logically, she wanted more commitment, more time, more energy, and more money spent on her. But now, she's going around like the village bicycle, everyone's getting a ride. And not only is she not acknowledging your offer, she's attacking you and blaming you for what she's doing. Let me enlighten you on what exactly she's doing and what you can't read between her lines. She's basically saying, we've been together for a long time, and I need to sleep with others, and I'm blaming you for it so that I don't feel guilty about my unfaithfulness and promiscuous nature. Explanation. It doesn't make sense for her to want more attention from you and to leave you. abandoning that little attention she had for nothing, and even worse, for sleeping around with bad boys. It doesn't make sense to claim to seek another who will give her said expected standard of attention and then be single, fuck around, and be happier. She would have left you even if you gave her the commitment and attention she wanted. She would have left you even if you didn't do what she claimed about. This is why she doesn't care when you offer to rectify everything she complained about. It's because that was never the real problem. She lied to herself, your common friends, and to you to rid herself of the guilt of wanting to be promiscuous, because she blames you for getting herself into the trap of a boring relationship she was never certain she wanted. She is lying to you and to herself. Her aim with lying and her self-righteous attitude is to make you feel guilty while she's throwing minor compliments to you so that you keep accepting the accusations and you don't become defensive against them. She wants to guilt you, which is the greatest tool for all manipulations. The truth is this: there were lots of exciting new opportunities for her, and she felt guilty that she wanted promiscuity. She rationalized it by convincing herself that she gave it all to you, and she's really this angelic little darling that has no blame. Again, this is because she wants you as a scapegoat to alleviate her own guilt of promiscuity, thus sustaining her delusions of purity while getting a power rush by emotionally abusing you. Her excuse for leaving you, therefore, is that you weren't giving enough. What an arrogant demand, by the way. And not that she wanted to fuck around and enjoy herself before she got old and settled for a beta provider who takes the leftovers and provides for them. She feels like you wasted her time in exploring other opportunities, and she feels resentful against you for keeping her there. Her wasted opportunities should at least be matched by your fullest commitment. But even that wouldn't be enough. She wants to have fun, not to be stuck with you or any other guy. If you fall for the bait and the trap she's laying down for you, which is playing victim and dismissing your much-needed male hero savior role, you'll be mind-fucked. She intends to bait you with guilt and then ignore you afterwards as soon as you start chasing her to make things right. She intends to hurt you and enjoy it. She's an evil person without a heart, and she takes pleasure in the suffering of others if it feeds her fragile ego. She wanted promiscuity, and to free herself from the guilt, she created the delusion of your inadequacy, a delusion which she believes and amplifies and allows to spread through her mind like a disease. She lives in a delusional state in which she thinks you hurt her and thinks she hates you, but in fact it's her coping mechanism resulting from the guilt of promiscuity, a biosocially programmed instinct in women. This willing self-delusion occurs especially when you have common friends, in which case she needs to justify her leaving you to them first and then to herself. Thing is, it was never about you not being good enough, although this is what she insinuates. Actually, you were good enough of a man to bring her to the dreaded female dilemma, which is exciting, dangerous promiscuity or boring, safe relationship. That means she considered you good enough to make her forget the risks and instability of promiscuity and stay with you. But making this consideration, she thought she'd want much more time and energy and commitment from your part because she came to weigh in pros and cons of each of her mutually exclusive choices. The slightest mistake from your part, giving her 1 hour less than expected in a week, for example, made her choose promiscuity over a relationship. That means it has nothing to do with your personal value. But her guilt made her emotional mind rationalize and blame you for her resorting to promiscuity. This is what it boils down to. Now, how do you get out of this manipulation mindfuck you found yourself in? This is what you think you have to do. That all you need to do to assert your manhood is to chase her and satisfy your male hero role. But the needier you become, the less she'll respect you. This is a catch-22 and you can't win because the more you assert yourself, the more she'll put you down. And that's why I call this manipulation tactic the catch-23. It's even harder to win. What you need to do is assume your manhood de facto and not assume that her bullshit victimhood is true. Whatever you do, do not believe her accusations, blame, and victimhood. Don't pity her on what she claims you did to her. Never feel sorry of anyone. Call her out on her bullshit in a cocky, funny, unaffected way. You were straight with her from the start, never made false promises of commitment even though her expectations were in her head. She knew who you were and what was going on in your relationship. Whatever expected commitment she misunderstood is on her, not you. Her problem. Don't accept her accusations and definitely don't apologize or seem like you give weight to her complaints. Appear to be unconvinced. Tell her that she's accusing you of things that she's guilty of, and she should be the one apologizing. But again, do it in a funny, unaffected way. Don't get emotional. That's her job. Call her out on playing the victim and call it cute and childish. Don't be needy. You don't need her especially. You never did. You only need your self-esteem, which should be independent of her. Reject her. You don't want her. She's a self-deluded liar. And kill all thoughts about getting back together. She couldn't see your value. She left your safety to be a whore. Trust me, you're better than her and you don't need that. If you chase her, you're doing it to satisfy your ego, not because you love her. So it's not real love. You're being sucked into her delusional state too. So don't do it. If you do, she'll use it against you and she'll prefer to see you suffer by not giving in to you. Even though she might want to on a certain level, but she also wants to live like a whore. Look at all her flaws. Look at how pathetic she is to need to do that. Stop respecting or loving her because she's so weak that she needs to consciously hurt you to feel empowered, and she needs to lie to herself and to you to get ahead. Pathetic and deserving no respect. Open your eyes to her evil intentions of hurting you and attempting to abuse you in order to help herself feel less guilty of being dirty. Don't give her the pleasure. If you resist her calls for your guilt, you'll see her losing her control and trying desperately to guilt you more. She needs it desperately. Stay cool and immune to her accusations. Jokingly tell her you don't believe her, that she's lying to herself, to you, about what the problem really was. Remember, in reality, she felt that she needed promiscuity. Because you can bet your ass this is what she's doing right now instead of finding what she claimed she wanted, a committed relationship. You do not accept her whining as valid nor deserving your attention. You will flip the dynamic to your favor if you appear superior to her whining. If she texts you, you say, "No text, call me." Because texting is a woman's advantage to hide behind safety. At least with your voice, you can use your powerful tonality to assert your frame of the interaction and not adopt hers. Never give in to guilt. Don't accept her whining and fake victimhood. She gets a power rush by emotionally abusing you. Strong men don't feel guilty, nor do they regret. Call her out on her bullshit without losing your cool. Be funny, sarcastic. Tell her it doesn't suit her when she whines, that you misunderstood her thinking she was cool. And that she sounds like a weak, offended professional victim. And it's cute because it reminds you of your niece. Tell her that she's whining, and she can't blame you because she's a big girl responsible for her own feelings. Tell her that during your relationship, you pushed her up, not pulled her down. She's lying when she claims you put her down because she's enjoying being a pathetic victim, wanting you to feel sorry for her like a whining child. Don't give her the pleasure. Tell her you see past her faux fragile arrogance. Tell her that you see how she enjoys the drama and that you're not taking it or her seriously. Tell her that she wasted your time more than you wasted hers because you stayed and she left for bullshit reasons. Make fun of her sarcastically about her getting all the attention she claimed she wanted after she left, letting her know that you're on to her bullshit. Be unapologetic always. To sum up, the catch-23 is a guilt trip manipulation tactic used by women who want one thing and then claim another, blaming you in the process to rid themselves of the guilt of what they want. which is usually promiscuity. She thinks she did you a favor by staying with you, and she got resentful when you didn't do your duty. To get out of it is to fuck her self-righteous entitlement, call her out on her BS, and show her that you don't take her whining seriously. This will give you the sort of internally sourced self-esteem that men truly need, a self-confidence that is independent of anyone's opinion. I hope you liked this video. If you like this analysis, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. Thanks for listening. You're awesome.